say our opening prayer. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Alright, I'm sorry the guys haven't showed up yet, so I don't have any markers to write on the board. So until they come, I'm just going to tell you all, do you all have papers?
Yeah.
Yes?
I don't. We don't.
And pencils. Okay, I guess we're going to have to catch up with. Okay, so October 31st.
It's Halloween.
Halloween. So today we are going to talk about Halloween.
Yeah, what about clowns?
And we are going to talk about clowns too.
Yeah.
Alright, so are we ready to have a fun time today?
Yeah.
Learn about Halloween?
Yes, and clowns. Mostly clowns. I want to learn the history of Halloween. Mostly
Okay.
clowns.
So what we are going to do is we are going to learn the history of Halloween and where it started from.
Yay. I got.
Alright, so you want to write on the top of your page Halloween.
I don't have paper. Yeah, I don't have
Oh.
a pencil.
There's some extra
I
paper
have an
here.
extra.
Who wants?
I do.
You need a pencil? Anyone
I
have
need a
extra
pencil.
pencils? Extra pencil?
No.
I need a pencil.
Anyone extra pencils?
I
You only have one? Alright, I'm sorry guys, I don't have it. Y'all have to just kind of share with each other or
Make these.
until the guys, the teachers don't come with keys for the cupboard, I'll get your pencils and everything else. Halloween, that's H-A-L.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's Halloween.
Good.
What's Halloween? That actually just spell Hallow and then Hallow. Yeah.
Okay guys, let's settle down now.
Or E.
We got a lot of material to cover and if we keep talking, then I won't be able to finish and y'all are not going to learn anything. So when we go to church, Jesus tells us to what?
To pray.
To pray, but we are supposed to go for
Not forgiveness.
we are supposed to go for communion, right? When we are going for communion, what are we doing there? We are eating what? We are eating what?
Eating the bread. Bread and blood of the
Okay. So what is the bread?
body.
The body. So we are eating the body
And the blood of Jesus.
and we are drinking the blood
Of
of Jesus, right?
Jesus. A lot of people say the bread is nasty. Right? I eat it. The bread doesn't even taste so.
Okay, so now you have to remember one thing, that whatever God does, okay, supposing you go to the bank and you cash a check and the check is for $100, right? And you give it to the cashier, what is the cashier going to give you back in return?
$100.
Sorry, to interrupt. The teacher is disappeared.
I don't have anyone I can spare.
What do they need?
They're looking for a teacher.
Oh, teacher.
Okay, so if we go to the bank and we give the bank a check, like a cashier's check, and we say this check is made out to me, I sign the check, I give it to them, and the cashier behind the desk will give me $100, right? Now, if I take that $100 bill and I look at the $100 bill and the $100 bill is real, then I take the bill, I put it in my pocket, and I can go and I can spend it, right? Yeah. Supposing you get a $100 bill from somebody, and the bill is not real, but it looks like almost like the real thing, but it is,
Fake.
it's fake. What else would you call it?
Throw it away.
What else do you call the fake $100 bill?
Magic
We call it counterfeit, right? We call it counterfeit. It's counterfeit. Counterfeit. It's not real. It's fake, but it looks almost real. So this is what Satan does. Have they come? Have they come down yet? Alyssa and them? No, we don't have the sign-in sheet yet because of them.
Oh, okay. So just leave it.
Okay, so everything that God does, Satan comes up with something that's almost like it, but not exactly right. It's counterfeit. Okay? So Jesus says, eat my flesh.
Yeah.
Here comes Satan with his counterfeit. So when we watch the movies, what do we see when we are watching movies? Who is eating flesh?
Zombies.
The zombies. And who drinks the blood?
Vampires.
Vampires. See? So that's the counterfeit. That's the counterfeit of what Jesus is telling us to do. Jesus says, eat my flesh and drink my blood. Satan says, no. You become a zombie
Or vampire.
or a vampire,
Vampire.
and you're not eating the blood, and he's putting you to another meat and another drink. You understand? So he's giving you something counterfeit. It's not real, and it's not gonna help.
So zombies eat your brain and
So
vampires drink your blood.
so y'all are getting the picture, right?
Oh yes.
So everything God does, Satan does exactly the opposite. So the first thing that we think about when we think of Halloween.
Scary stuff.
Okay, let's look at the time when Halloween occurs. What time of year? What time of year? No,
Saturday.
no. What time? Like it's summer, spring,
Fall.
When it's fall, what starts to happen around us?
The leaves start to change.
The leaves start to change and
The weather.
what happens to the leaf? They don't only change color. What happens?
They fall.
They fall. That's why we call it fall,
Oh.
right?
Oh.
So the leaves fall. And when the leaves fall, then what happens to the leaves?
It doesn't get wet.
They die.
They die.
And it's a time of decay. It's a time of cold. It's a time of cold. Things stop. Plants stop growing. It's not a time of life. It is a time of death. Okay? Now keep that in your mind. It's not a time of life. It's a time of death. What happens to the days?
The change.
The days get
Longer.
no.
Shorter.
The days get shorter and the nights grow longer. So the time of darkness increases and the time of light decreases. So we don't know exactly when Halloween started, but about roughly 2,000 plus years ago, even before the time of Jesus. How do we know? Because we have the writings of people that lived in that time, which was 2 BC. That was 2 years before Christ was born. Okay? We have writings by Greek and Roman authors that have placed the feast of Halloween from that time to writings almost four centuries after Christ passed away. So where did this culture or this belief or this religious system start? You know what area of the world it started from? It started in Europe. In Britain, France, Germany, and the group of people called the Celts, which were the Welsh, the Irish, and the Scottish.
No wonder.
Okay? So, it started in Britain, France, Germany, and Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. Okay, you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, now that part of the world, it grows very, very cold. So when winter hits, there's ice on the ground, and those people are all farming type of people. So if they don't have the crops growing, then there's no food. If they haven't had a good crop and a good yield, then that is a situation of life and death for them, because it's not like today that you can just go to the grocery store and buy food. In those days, if you didn't stock up your pantry and you didn't have enough food to take you through the winter, you just die. You just die. Alright, you understand?
Perish.
You perish. So these people were very scared, and so they would always pray to the gods to give them blessing so that they would have enough food to carry them through the long days of winter. Alright? And their whole system of religion and belief was based on fear, threats, intimidation. So there was a group of people called the Druids. Okay, how do you spell that? It's D-R-U-I-D-S. Druids.
Druids?
Druids. They were the priests that practiced this religion. So what they said is if the land gave them crops to eat and keep them satisfied, then in return the people had to give a sacrifice back to the land. Okay, and so what sacrifice would they give back to the land?
Food.
They would either offer food, or what else would they give back to the land?
Clothes.
They would offer blood.
Oh.
And how did they do the blood sacrifice? They would sacrifice bulls, horses, sheep, okay, and spill the blood. Alright? Now, the god that they worshipped, his name was called Soin.
So?
Yeah, it's spelled S-A-M-H-A-I-N.
What?
It's spelled S-A-M-H-A-I-N. I know, but it's pronounced Soin because of the way they speak over there. Okay, so he's the god, and you know what he's the god of?
What?
He's called the god of the dead. So basically, he is Satan. And that's the god that they were worshipping. Okay, they were worshipping Satan. Now, what is the difference between Jesus? What is the difference between Jesus and Soin? Soin is called the god of the god of the dead, right? What is Jesus called?
The God of life.
Is the God of heaven.
He is the god of the living and the god of the dead. Do you understand?
What?
So Jesus is the god of the living and the god of the dead.
Wow. But how?
How?
Because whether we are alive or whether we are in the grave, who's in charge?
Jesus.
So he's the Lord of the living and the dead. Do you understand? Alright? So, now these priests, they used to rely on the people to feed them, right? So to keep the people scared and intimidated, what they would do is that they believed what they would call turning points, or points where things met. Which, for example, is the time when the day and the night meet, like the day and the night meet, which is dawn and dusk, okay, which is 3 o'clock in the morning. That's why they call 3 o'clock in the morning the witching hour.
Oh yes.
Alright?
The witching
The witching hour. That's the hour when they're wanting to cast spells and stuff, because that's a time of complete darkness.
I'm gonna be awake on that time.
Alright. So, what other things do we know? Okay? So this god of the dead, the place where the sea and the land meet, right? So where the waves come and stop, and where the land meets, that point, the time when darkness and light meet, which is dawn and dusk. Yes.
Doesn't the witch always these spells at midnight?
Yes, that's the time between 12 and 3. That's the time of darkness. Okay? So, what they do is that they consider all these points and the points of turning, which is when the old year ends and the new year begins. So, for the Satanists, or the people that practice the Druid religion, guys, pay attention. For the people that practice the Druid religion, the most powerful time for them is the time when the old year ends and the new year begins. So what is their new year?
New Year.
What is their new year? What would their new year be? It would be 31st night, 1st of November. Okay, so the 1st of November is their new year. 31st of October is the day they are celebrating the last day of the year, and the new day beginning to start. You understand? The new year coming in? That's where the old and the new meet. Now what they believed is that all of the people that died in those 12 months before, right? So everybody that died from 1st of November, the year before, all the way up to 31st of October, they believe that all the people that died, not the good people but the wicked people, their souls were allowed to come out for that one night. Okay? The souls of those dead people were allowed to come out in the night and roam, and they would come to visit their families and the places where they used to live before. Okay, but now remember one thing, they're not good, they're evil. Okay?
Oh.
And so the people were scared because they didn't want them coming to the house, because what they believed that these souls would be cursed, and so they would have to inhabit the body of an animal. Okay? So for example, they would come and they would take possession of the soul or the body of a black cat. So what the priest would do was that they would take the cat and they would kill the cat.
Oh.
Why? Because they believed that they were freeing the spirit of the evil. They were freeing the evil spirit. You understand? And that's why there's a lot of
black cats. Whenever people say, like, whenever you cross by a black cat, then it's bad luck.
yeah, but that's a superstition. It's not true. Okay, remember that. These are all superstitions because they keep you under fear. So they would kill the animals because they believed that they were releasing the spirit of the wicked one. Okay? Making sense? Okay, but the people living in the villages were scared because what they believed is that if this wicked spirit came to visit them in the house and the wicked spirit decided to stay, then what would that spirit end up doing? It would end up tormenting them and haunting them. So they didn't want the spirit to stay. So what they did was they said, how can we trick them? So they said, let's trick them because we can beat them. So this is how we're going to trick them. We are going to start dressing up just like them. So when they come and see us, they're going to think that we are one of them, so they won't cause us any harm. So that's why they started dressing up like ghouls and goblins and witches and stuff. So you understand where all this dressing up came into being? Then the other way they would appease them would be to cook food, sweets, and give them sweets to make them feel good and happy. Right? Alright, you understand? So that's what they would do. So what they would do, they would cook all these sweets and stuff and they would dress up just like the ghouls and goblins, and they would come out in the night, and because it's dark, so they would also carry lanterns with them. Now, you heard of jack-o'-lantern?
Yeah.
You know why jack-o'-lantern, the whole thing of jack-o'-lantern started?
Where?
It was because of they believed that there was a spirit of a man whose name was Jack. And he was such a wicked person that he was punished and he was made to walk the earth all of eternity searching for a place of rest. So he would walk with a lantern trying to find rest somewhere because he couldn't go to heaven, he couldn't go to hell. There was no place for him to rest. So that's where the jack-o'-lantern started. Okay? Now, what they would do is that they would give fruit, right, or sweet, or they would give an animal sacrifice. But supposing, because remember we were talking that these people are all farmers, so they would be farming on their land, right? But what happens if the weather was bad or they didn't get enough rain and now there's no crops? So here comes the druid. And the druid comes to their house and he knocks on the door. And he says, hey, you have to give me so much money. And the farmer says, I don't have the money. So then he would tell the farmer that you have to give me one of the best animals you have, or you give me one of your children.
What?
Okay?
That's mean.
So what happens if they take the best animal or the child, and then they would take that animal or the child, and they would take that to the altar, and they would sacrifice that.
What?
Okay? So, supposing the farmer said, hey, I don't have the money to give you, alright? I'm not going to give you the money because I don't have it, and I'm not going to give you my child, and I'm not going to give you my animal. Then what the priest would do is he would come and he would put a sign on the wall of their house, which was made of a 6-sided figure. So when we have a point, one dot, it's called a point, right?
Yes.
If we have a line, that's just called a line. If we have 2, that's called an angle. Angle, right? 2. 2 is an angle, yes or no?
Yeah.
If it's 3, what does it become? Triangle. 4 becomes a?
Square.
Very good. 5 becomes a? Pentagon. Awesome. What is 6?
Octagon.
No, that's 8.
Hexagon.
Hexagon. So, they would put a 6-sided figure with a circle around it, and they call it a curse. And that's where the term came in that I'm going to put a hex on you.
Oh.
You get it?
Oh.
Yeah. So when they say I'm going to put a hex on you, that's where it started from. Because they were making that sign that was I'm going to put a curse on you. Yes? Okay, so now supposing the farmer did give them the child, right? Or the animal. What they would do, they would take the child to the altar. and they would sacrifice the child, and then they would cut the child body open in certain ways to take out certain parts from the body. But what they did was that they would take out the fat.
Yeah.
The fat. All the fat from the child's body.
Yeah.
And then they would take the body, then they would clean it up and they would take out all the bones, right?
Yeah.
And after they got the bones, they would put the bones on a fire.
Yeah.
And it was called a bonfire. And that's where we got the term bonfire. It was actually supposed to be a bonfire because they burned the bones on there.
Wow.
So you understand where the bonfire came from?
Yeah.
Okay. After they burned the body, they said, okay, now the God of the dead is happy, right? So they took a pumpkin and they carved the pumpkin into the smiling face. That's why you always see the pumpkin smiling of the God of the dead. And then they would hollow it out and they would put all the baby's fat inside there of the child and they would set it on fire, burn it alive. Okay? So that's when you see that pumpkin with the light inside, that's where all that came from. Alright? So when human fat is burned, it gives off a greenish glow. That's why they have the color green over there. That eerie green. Because it only comes with human fat.
Ew. I need to.
Go ahead. So just remember one thing. When we go to church, you see the priest that he's praying over the priest is praying over the bread and the wine. And certain things happen when he prays over the bread and the wine. The same way, they say that the Satanists, the people that follow Satan, that when they make all these Halloween costumes and stuff, they are actually praying over the costumes and the evil spirits come in and take over those costumes. So when we wear those costumes, we are opening a door to the evil spirits to come in. So don't celebrate Halloween, guys.
Huh?
Don't wear costumes. Don't celebrate Halloween.
Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, that's why they say everyone else is doing. Let me ask you a question. Supposing there's a place on a hill, right? Where there's a hill and then there's a ledge, and if you jump off the ledge, you're going to fall down and die. Alright? And you come up over there and there's a line of 100 people before you, and everyone they come and they stand on the ledge and they jump down and they die. So when you come up to that ledge and you look down, are you going to jump down too?
No.
Why?
Because you're scared.
But everybody else is doing it.
So
this is his logic, right? He said everybody else is doing it. So because they are going to fall down and kill themselves, are you going to do it too?
No.
You understand why I'm teaching you all this? So you don't have to stand on that ledge and jump like a fool, like everybody else. You save yourself because we are Christians. We have to believe in God and not the devil.
I celebrate Halloween in a different way. Like my family, they dress up in like nice things, like
Spider-Man.
like angels. Yeah, something like
Spider-Man.
that. Angels and stuff like that. They only dress up like that, and then we only have like a party and stuff like that. That's
A constant party.
Yeah.
I have a party every week.
We can go on the night when everybody else is celebrating Halloween. This is the way the Catholic Church recommends that we celebrate Halloween. It tells us to go to church and pray. Alright? That's the way we celebrate Halloween. We do not do anything that could even slightly resemble the way the other people celebrate Halloween.
They just celebrate.
I don't think a lot of people are going to go trick-or-treating this year though because of all those things on the news.
Yeah, but you know another thing that they have found that child abduction increases at this time of the year.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how many children are abducted just a little before the season of Halloween?
Yeah, because they.
Why? Because somebody has abducted a child, maybe to put them into slavery or maybe to actually sacrifice that child. And you know how many children are sacrificed at this time of the year? Or how many children are abducted, not sacrificed?
1,000.
No, 50,000 in America and 20,000 in Canada.
What?
Those are the latest figures.
So 70,000 total.
So like,
Crazy. These people are dumb.
Why would you want to do anything that resembles candy? Why are we giving away candy?
Because they
Why?
want
I have a question.
They
Why
want
would you
candy.
give candy?
Yeah.
It's your money. Why are you giving it to somebody else?
They want candy.
Just take the candy.
I want the
Yeah.
candy.
Well, I'll just
And you know a lot of the evil people, They will put razor blades into the candy, they put poison into the candy just so the kids will die.
Yeah, I saw you.
Why is it every time when you look at Halloween, it's always adults taking little children along with them? Why?
Cause
He
so
was
they can
safe.
be safe.
I saw on YouTube someone put razor blade.
But you know what? Satan, he's not after the old people because they're already full of sin. He's after the young kids because they're innocent. And he wants them. And that's why he's always trying to trick you all.
Oh, you didn't get me? So,
Now our
Forget
school has the
How do you protect yourself? So how do you protect yourself?
stay with your parents.
No.
No!
Don't go to
Now look, y'all are at this age right now when y'all still have respect for your parents and stuff, but when y'all start getting a little bit older, like 14 or 15, you're going to tell your dad, you don't know anything. Or your mom, you don't know anything, I'm going to do my own thing. And you're going to hide behind their back and you're going to do stuff. So how do you protect yourself when your parents are not there with you? When your parents are not there with you to help you and support you and guide you. Supposing you grow up, you've been with your parents all their life, but now you graduated from high school and you go to Austin, right?
I'm going to
And you're going to college over there in Austin or say in San Antonio. How do you protect yourself over there? This is what you are here for in this church. This is what you are here for so that you know how to protect yourself when you're there and you think what? You think no one's watching. And you can do bad stuff because nobody knows. You know in the Bible there's a story of the prodigal son. And the prodigal son, right? So this is a story of a father who had two kids, right?
Yeah.
He had the older boy and the younger boy. So the younger boy, the father is very rich. And they call it the story of the prodigal son. You know what the word prodigal means?
No.
It means someone who wastes. A waster, a wasteful person, right? It's a story of a prodigal, a wasteful son, but actually that's the wrong title. The story should actually be called the story of the wasteful father. Because the father is more wasteful than the son.
What?
Yeah? Now, think. This is the father who has two kids, and the younger son comes to him and says, Father,
Give me your money.
he doesn't say, give me your money. What does he tell the father?
I want to have some money.
Huh?
No,
He doesn't say, can I
said,
have
"Give
some?
me my fair of
He says, give me my share of what?
money."
Of the inheritance. Okay, so everything that the father has belongs to the son, but when does the son legally get it?
When he's 18.
No. So when you become 18, everything your father has, does it come to you?
When I died.
When your dad dies. So what was the son telling the dad? He says, Dad, I can't wait for you to die to get my share, I want it now. So that's what he was telling his dad. I don't care whether you're alive or you're dead, all I care about is the money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he told his dad, I wish you were dead because then I would have my share of the money. So,
Y'all
why
are
don't
so
you
wrong.
this is true. This is the way Jesus was explaining the story. This is exactly what Jesus meant when he said that. He said that the son said that I don't care whether you're alive or dead, just give me my share. Isn't that the way we treat God?
No.
Because God is a good father, but we say we only go to God when we want something from Him and we say, give me. After we got what we want from God, don't bother me now. I'm fine, I'm doing good, I'm on my own. So the young son took his share of the money, the father gave it to him. Did the father have to give it to him?
No.
No, because the father wasn't dead. The father could have told him, hey, you need to wait till I'm dead, then you can get it. But the father was so kind and he was such a waster that he told the son, okay, here's half of whatever I have, here's half, take it and go. And so the son, he took all of the money and instead of staying where his father and his family were, he didn't stay there because if he did bad stuff over there, everybody else would know what he was doing. So he ran off to a far country, say far away from where everybody could see what he was doing. And he got into all kinds of mischief over there.
Yeah.
Right? So it says that he got all kinds of friends, right?
Yeah.
Why the friends came to him? Because he
he
had
had
right, because he had money and he was spending the money and making sure all of them had a good time. So when you have friends who are around you only when you have money, those are not real friends.
Yeah.
Because when you get into
They're
trouble,
just using you.
they are just using you, exactly. What happens to those friends?
They betray you.
They're going to betray you and they're going to leave you on
And
your
then
own.
they take your house and then they take all your money.
Yes.
So how can we carry all that money? Like, do we have
You got that credit card.
He could have had the money in many ways. Maybe the father could have exchanged it for gold and given him a few gold bars, or maybe he could have bought him a diamond or a pearl and given it to him, and he could have gone sold it at the place he was at. Alright, so there's many ways that you can transfer money.
But you can't have that credit card.
So no, that in those days they didn't have credit cards, right?
Oh,
So he goes there and it says he wasted all the money
what?
and he became broke.
Yeah.
That's what
And
you
then
did.
all his friends that were around him,
Got fat.
they all left him.
Oh, I know that.
And there's nowhere that this kid can go now. There's no food to eat because there's a famine in the land. He can't find work anywhere. He can't feed himself. He doesn't have no money left. So he goes over there to a farmer, and that was a farmer who used to look after pigs. And you know, for the Jewish people, the pig is the dirtiest and the worst animal that you could even talk about or touch, right? And he's living with the pigs because the farmer gave him a job and told him, if you look after the pigs, I'm not going to give you any food, but the food that I throw for the pigs, you can eat some of that. What they used to have the corn, right? The corn.
The corn.
And they would husk the corn, and there would be a few pieces of corn still left, right? That they left behind.
Yeah.
And so they would throw that to the pigs to eat.
Oh yeah, they would dry it.
And so he would take the husk from there, and he would try to peel off the little corn that was left, and he would eat it, the food that the pigs were eating. So this is what Jesus is trying to tell us. Jesus is telling us, Jesus is teaching us, he says that, look, in my Father's house, there's the best of food, right? And you can eat all you want, but you prefer to be living in the world and eating all that dirt, right? That's the whole story about. So it says that this kid was living over there and he thought to himself that, wow, in my father's house, even the servants eat better than I'm eating here. And I was stupid. So I need to go back to my father and I need to tell my father, Dad, I'm sorry, forgive me and punish me. And you know, when I come back home, even if you take me back as a servant in your house, he said, I'm willing to work as a servant and serve you just so I can at least have a full stomach full of food to eat.
Yeah.
Right?
They had a party.
So the kid, he's going home, and every step he's walking home, he's thinking, oh my God, what is my father going to do to me? Is he going to beat me? Is he going to cuss me out? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that?
All that.
So he's thinking all these things, right? And over there, at his home, the father is sitting, looking outside the window, and he's just praying and wondering, when is my son going to come back?
Then he
And every day he's looking out the window to see, is his son coming back home? And one day, he looks out the window and far, far away he sees this little figure start coming closer and closer, and he looks and he says, wow, that's my son. Now, in the times of Jesus, okay, listen. In the times of Jesus, when a son did what that son did, okay, if that son came back to his village, you know what the rest of the village was supposed to do? They were supposed to take him outside the walls of the city, and they were supposed to pick up stones and throw it on him until he died. Okay? Because it was his punishment for being a bad son.